Hello, everyone. Sorry I had to push Facebook Live again. My daughter-in-law wants me to pick up my grandson tomorrow from school for the first time, and so she wanted me to go today, so I kind of knew the routine and where to get him. So that was at 2:30, 2:45, so I knew there was no way I was going to be back in time for a 3 o'clock live. So, so sorry. I may have to figure out a different time to do this because if I need to pick him up, you know, it may be last minute. So we'll figure it out. But I'm here now. Hopefully you will find me while I'm waiting for y'all to find me. I'm going to share this with my page in case somebody is looking for it there. So that'll take me just a minute to do that. And then we'll get started. If you are new to my Facebook Live, I come to you every Thursday around 3 or 4. Usually it's 3. Hey, Marion. And we make something fun. And then the next week I give away what we made. So last week we made this nice pumpkin card. I just love this beautiful pumpkin set. And I will tell you at the end who won that. Today we're playing with a new set, another new set. It's called Fluffy Squirrel. All right. About got it posted over to my page. And then we will get back to where we were and we'll get started. So this is actually, I think, let me double check. They released new online exclusive at the same time they did the catalog, so I get very confused as to what's in the catalog and what's a new online exclusive. But this is from the catalog. So this is Fluffy Squirrel. So it's a punch bundle. He's so cute, which is always fun. So here's the stamp set. And then the punches out just this squirrel and the acorn. But today we're going to do kind of a fun fold. Now I showed you this, posted this one on Facebook yesterday, I think. So this is one that we did in the technique class that I'm in with Kay. And it used another stamp set. This was, I think this is in the catalog. Is it Autumn Toile? It's a whole mega suite. So the whole suite is called Autumn Toile. But it has those two bundles, and so that's the Amber Autumn is the one we used. It has some really nice paper too. I don't have that one. I can't buy everything in the catalog, so I went with the online exclusive one. I have a class for it Monday night. And I do have, let me show you that real quick. I do have some cards ready for that. I have one spot left, and it's using the memories. We're also going to do one of these fun folds in that class. And we're going to do a little stitching too. I don't think that has anything on the inside. So it's got beautiful paper, which is the paper I used on my card today, which is called Gathering Together. So let me try and do it away from the camera so maybe it won't be too noisy. But it's got, on one side, it has gold accents. And then on the other side, it doesn't. Oh, that's that same green. I think I showed this to you. Did I show this to you already? Maybe not. Because I seem to have it turned like I did. There's that one. Yeah. It's beautiful. Of course, I've been using it, so. But that gold, those gold accents are just gorgeous. That one's got some green in it. So, beautiful paper. And that's what I'm using on this squirrel card today. So this is what we're going to make today. So it's this fun fold card. So it's like a little flap on top of your card. And it's really easy. So let's get started. And just as a reminder, I did leave one there. Sorry, I'm working on swaps for Saturday. And so I have squirrel stuff everywhere because I'm demoing this card at the team meeting, at Case team meeting, but then I'm also doing swaps with this set. So I have squirrels everywhere over here. All right, so I used the everyday arches, and that was the other thing I was going to tell you. On my blog, shortly after this video goes, I'm done with it, I'll put up on my blog the measurements for all this, so you don't have to worry about that. But these are the everyday arches, and I forgot to check to see if they're back in stock yet. I know they have been unavailable. They've gone in and out several times. They are so popular, and I see why, because they're so versatile. So if they're not back yet, they will be at some point. All right, so the big one is going to go on the outside because it's going to cover up the smaller ones. So let's start with this guy. And we're going to use pecan pie and early espresso. So let's stamp our tree stump. We're going to stamp it in pecan pie. And I'm using the squirrel that does not punch out. So that's why I'm stamping it straight on this. All right, then we'll stamp our squirrel. We're going to need our pecan pie again, but I'm going to put it away just so I don't, hey, patience, so that I don't get my hand in it. We're using early espresso for our squirrel. We're just going to stamp him on top of our stump here. He's so cute. And then we'll get our pecan pie back out. Actually, we're just going to do this. We'll just pull him in and out. It'll be too confusing otherwise. Okay. So now we're going to stamp the inside of our squirrel. And we're going to do that with pecan pie. And that's a pretty solid stamp. So I don't have any of them here. We're going to hope it works. I don't think I ever pulled them back over to my workspace from class last week. So they're on my cart. All right, let's see if I can do this. Sometimes it's hard when you're not right over it. Pretty good. Now there's no fill-in stamp for the stump. So I just used light crumb cake. Oops. You could leave it, but I kind of wanted it colored in. And this is basic beige that I've stamped on. All right, now our stump is colored in. All right, so that's our outside. That's our outside. Now we need to stamp this guy. So that's our smaller arch. So we're going to stamp Go Nuts. It's your birthday. In early espresso again. Just kind of in the middle. Whoops. And then I decided to add little acorns all over it. So this is the pecan pie again. And I'm just going to add them everywhere. They're just falling all over this card. Okay. And then we do need, that's all for that, but we do need a little acorn for the front. So I have a piece of pecan pie just a little strip. And I wouldn't have to because I'm going to a darker color, but I like to clean it even if I'm going to a darker color. So there we go. And we're going to stamp that in early espresso again. Whoa, let me just throw it. And we'll punch that out in a minute, but I'm not going to punch it out quite yet because I'm afraid I'll lose it. We'll set that aside. Okay, now we're ready to start assembling all of this. So we're going to start with, so this goes on the inside and this goes on the, or under the flap. Set those aside. We're going to work with these two. Let's go ahead and put this on. So we've got, that's just a piece of designer series paper. Just looks like I just barely put my squirrel down. So we're going to put this at the top. Just across there. And I like to use my liquid glue because then I can adjust it a little bit if I need to. All right. Now this I have, you can kind of see I've scored it. I think at 3/4. As I said, all of the measurements will be on my blog shortly after this video is done. So you're going to put adhesive on this piece right here. Excuse me. Let me get a drink real quick. Okay. So you're going to put adhesive on this kind of, I think of it as an inside flap. I'm going to use liquid glue because it's a strong adhesive. And you're going to adhere this to your designer series paper. And I did mine not quite in the center. So just kind of hold that for a minute. And then before we put this on, we want to wrap. Actually, I think I did it after. I did it after I put that on. So let's put this on our card base. That will give us more stability. So I have early espresso card base. And we'll put our, I always hate covering up foil paper. Stampin' Up! Makes such beautiful designer series paper. It's so hard when you have to cover up one side. So we'll put that on there. So now we have the beginning of our flap, plus we still have our card. I don't think I put anything. Oh yeah, I did stamp one thing on the inside, didn't I? May you gather happiness. So let's do that real quick. Where is that stamp? It's over here somewhere. That will go on our inside piece in early espresso. And we could add some more acorns. I didn't, but you certainly could if you wanted to. Okay. Now we can put this on the inside of our card. All right, so now we have the base of our card there. We're ready to put this on. And I just kind of line it up so it's got, you know, a little space from the other arch. Now we can tie this around here. And when it's twine, I do go ahead and tie a knot before I tie my bow. That's not very even. That might cause us trouble. Pull it back that way a little bit. It's small enough that you can get away with tying a knot and then tying a bow on top of that, and it won't be bulky. If it was ribbon, I wouldn't do that. I would get my tweezers and hold it while I was tying my bow. But now I can tie a bow on top of that. Maybe. I've told you, it's always hard to tie bows on camera. Come here. There we go. And then you can kind of adjust it. If I can grab my tail. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to move that down just a little bit. Then let's get the rest of our little flap pieces on, or our arches. So this goes on this one. And then what I did is I went ahead and put my adhesive on here. And then you just kind of line it up. You don't want it to be right up against it or it won't close very well. And you just want to make sure there's some distance on each side so that when it closes, it covers that up. All right, now we just need to add our embellishments. So we have a little acorn that we're ready to punch out. And that's why I did a strip, because you're gonna, the part of the squirrel is gonna punch too. So you don't want to waste a lot of paper. There's our acorn. And I put this one on with glue dots, but I'm thinking I think I might want to put it on with dimensional instead, a mini dimensional. Just so I'll lift it up over that twine better. So let's just take a mini dimensional and put it on the bottom of it. And then it can kind of hang out over the bow. That's better. Okay. And then the last thing are these dots. These are Cajun Craze and Gold dots, and they actually go with that other suite I was telling you about, the autumn one I got, Gathering Moments. But they look great with this too. Just grabbing my Take Your Pick tool. And it does have 3 different sizes. Whoops, it flipped on me. I have to put a new putty in on this pretty soon. That one flipped too. And then a medium one. There we go. So there is our Fun Fold squirrel card. I think anybody would have fun getting that for their birthday. All right. Let me show you a couple more cards. This is using the punch. This is not a Fun Fold. It's just a regular card. We're going to make this one in class in October. I've been trying to design ahead. And then this is the swap card I've been working on. So I've been playing with squirrels. So this is like a book fold. So that I have to make 11 of these for swaps on Saturday. So that's what I've been working on. All right. Let's find out who won last week's card. So we had this beautiful pumpkin card from last week, and it was Marion. I think that is 3 weeks in a row that she's won. So she is definitely having beginner's luck. So Marion, I will get that to you. I'll probably just save it and give it to you Monday when you come to class. All right. Next week, somebody will win this fun flap. I'll have to ask Kay what the name of this Fun Fold is. But it's really fun. Okay, that's it. I will get the measurements on my blog shortly, and I will see you next week. hopefully at 3 o'clock. We'll see. Hopefully everything will go normal next week. All right. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next week. Bye.